Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Theological Leftovers. I have a quote today. I hope this translates well as I read it to you. It's from John Chrysostom, and it really got me thinking. I hope it will you as well. He's talking, at least in this part of a sermon that he wrote a long time ago. He's talking about Proverbs 26:27, which reads as follows: "For he who digs a pit for his neighbor falls into it." Good proverb, isn't it? For he who digs a pit for his neighbor falls into it. So obviously this proverb's talking about what? It's talking about plotting or scheming against our neighbor. We're getting ready to start an adult instruction class, a foundations class. In fact, this Monday at 6, if you're in Evansville, want to know more about Lutheranism and about really the 6 main things that the Bible teaches, you're welcome to join us. We're going to start by talking about the 10 Commandments. And this is definitely right in line as we talk about the second table of the law. We talk about loving our neighbor. And so much of the 10 Commandments have to do with not scheming and plotting against our neighbor, but building up our neighbor, right? And so this Proverb 26:27 falls right in line with what we're going to be talking about, not so much this Monday, but the next time we meet. And we're meeting every other Monday. Anyway, sorry, shameless plug. So again, the proverb that Chrysostom writes on is, "For he who digs a pit for his neighbor falls into it." Here's what Chrysostom writes: "Let us then not plot against others, lest we injure ourselves. When we supplant the reputation of others, let us consider that we injure ourselves. It is against ourselves we plot. For perchance with men we do him harm if we have power, but we injure ourselves in the sight of God by provoking him against us. Let us then not harm ourselves, for as we injure ourselves when we injure our neighbors, so by benefiting them we benefit ourselves. If then your enemy harm you, he has benefited you if you are wise, and so requite him not the same things, but even do him good." It's kind of like reading Shakespeare, isn't it? It's beautiful. The point he's making is at least twofold, and I kind of want to add a third as well. But the two things that he's saying based on this proverb is, number one, you plot against your neighbor, even if they did something wrong to you first. If you plot against your neighbor to cause them injury, you're ultimately only injuring yourself. Now, you may be successful in getting the revenge that you were looking for, or if you want to call it the justice that you're looking for. But ultimately, the person that you're plotting against is someone Christ died for. It is someone that God created and redeemed. Even if they're not a believer, it's somebody that God desires to bring to himself, like a prodigal son, right? So if God's desire is to bring this person closer to him, and at the same time, you as one of God's children is plotting against this person, scheming against this person, then you see how you're at, what's the way to say it? You're at odds. That's not what I was trying to say, but you're at odds with God and his will and his plans. And that isn't a good place to be. So he says it is against ourselves we plot. We only do ourselves harm, right? But then the second part, so that's kind of the argument from the negative of why we should not plot and scheme against our neighbors, seek revenge. But the argument from the positive side is, he says, let me read it to you again. For as we injure ourselves when we injure our neighbors, so by benefiting them, we benefit ourselves. If then your enemy harm you, he has benefited you if you are wise, and so requite him not with the same things, but even do him good. Oh, this is Jesus, turn the other cheek, right? This benefits you. It doesn't mean they're going to turn around and go, "Oh, wow, I treated you poorly and you treated me great. Let me shower you with praises and blessing." That often doesn't happen. Even when you're doing the good thing for your enemy, they often don't even see it as the good thing and continue to do you harm, That's reality in this world. So the benefit that he's talking about is not a benefit that you necessarily receive from that person. It could be, but it might not be. The benefit you receive is you are, instead of doing something in opposition to God, you are working with God according to his will. And of course that's beneficial. That's a positive thing. You're in step with the will of God, which is to bless this person and to be a blessing to them. And the benefits of that are to some degree unknown. How God rewards those things, I don't know that I can speak to that. But there is a reward, at least in this, and this is the most important thing. You're with God. You have a heart like God's when you are a blessing even to your enemies, because that's Jesus. That's how God has treated us. Which gets to the thing that I guess I kind of want to add to this. We don't even really need to consider okay, well, should I be nice to this person or should I reciprocate evil for evil? Well, what's my benefit going to be? I don't even have to think that way, right? No matter what kind of things happen as a result of me doing God's will, whether I see a new blessed relationship with somebody who was my enemy, whether I receive praise from this world or blessings from this world. I mean, none of that ultimately really matters. The truth is I love my neighbor. Why? I love my neighbor because God has loved me perfectly by sending Jesus. I even love my enemy because I was hostile to God. I was dead in my sins. I was blind to God's will and going the opposite direction. And Christ came, even while I was yet a sinner, and he died for me. He loved me so much, he died for me. He suffered and died for me, and my sins are forgiven because of what Jesus did for me. Why do I love? Why do you love? We love because Christ first loved us, right? I mean, the benefit really came even before I met my neighbor, even before I was at this crossroads where I had to say, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to respond? The benefits came long before the crossroads. So I kind of wanted to add that. Having said that, I'm not trying to take away from what Chrysostom said. I think this is profound, a profound explanation of Proverbs 26:27, which I'm going to read one more time. For he who digs a pit for his neighbor falls into it. Something for you to consider as you enjoy, depending on when you read this, the weekend or the new week or whatever. I don't know when people look at these things, but I hope it's a blessing. God bless you all. God bless your week. Remember, if you're in Evansville, we got lots of stuff going on here at Concordia, and you're welcome to it. 9 o'clock, we're studying Hebrews chapter. If you catch this, today when I'm recording this on the 8th, I encourage you to come to the Bible class on Hebrews on the 9th at 9 o'clock. The 9th at 9. We're doing Hebrews chapter 8. And, oh, man, there's some really neat stuff I didn't even really quite notice and appreciate that I get to share with you. I'm really looking forward to Hebrews chapter 8. And then, of course, 10:30, Christ himself comes to serve us, to give us the gifts of forgiveness, life, and salvation, the divine service. That's 10:30. Monday, we have our foundations class at 6 o'clock. Monday morning, there's an opportunity to serve God's people over at Easter Seals, to share a good word and sing with them, pray with them. Lots of neat opportunities at Concordia. If you'd like to know more about them, feel free to contact me, and I'll pass those along. Otherwise, just come and join us. God bless you all. God bless your week.